Hi and Assalamualaikum. Today we would like to explain our problem scenario topic 4, and our issues is the number of unemployed in Malaysia is decreasing, and our course lecturer is Sir Muhammad Hashim bin Ahmad, and this is our group member. My name is Nur Suraya binti Muhajirin and my matrix number is 08 DPI 23F1079.
Hi, my name is Nur Afrina Shaira binti Nur Effendi. My matric number is 08DPI23F1075, and I will be reading and explaining the second question.
My name is Siti Raihan binti Rushdi. My matrix 08DPI23F1300.
And this is issue of question. The number of unemployed in Malaysia is decreasing.
Next is a table of content. 1. Clarify the data related to the unemployment rate, the number of unemployed, the total labor force, and the contribution of the economic sector to the workforce. And second, discuss how the government can maintain a low unemployment rate by using monetary policy through the control of the statutory reserve requirements. And our first question is clarify the data related to the unemployment rate, the number of unemployed, the total labor force, and the contribution of the economic sector to the workforce. Unemployment rate, November 2023, the unemployment rate drops to 3.3%, returned to pre-pandemic levels with a decline 3.4% in the previous month, signifying an enhanced employment situation in the country. Next is number of unemployed. November 2023, Malaysia had 569,200 unemployed individuals, decreased from previous months and showing a positive trend in reduced unemployment. Also, total labor force is in November 2023, the total labor force grew to 17 million, up from 16.79 million earlier, signifying more people engaged in the work and positive impact in the economy. The next is contribution, economic sector contribution to the workforce. This refers to the proportion of the labor force that is employed in a specific economic sector, such as agriculture, manufacturing, or services, to an increased employed individual in November 2023. Also, calculate this, divide the number of people working in that sector by the total labor force and multiply the result by 100. Next,
Total labor forces in October to November 2023. The labor forces increased by 2.2% month to month from 70 million people compared to 6.97 million in October. This labor forces participation rate remained at 17.1%. Unemployment rate October to November 2023. In November, the unemployment rate dropped to 3.3%, returning to per-pandemic level. This compared to the previous month rate of 3.4%.
Question 2. Discuss how the government can maintain a low unemployment rate by using monetary policy to the control of the statutory reserve requirement. Number 1 is lowering reserve requirement. When the government want to stimulate economic growth and reduce unemployment, it may lower by statutory reserve requirement. By allowing banks to hold less money in reserve, they have more funds available for lending. This increased availability of credit encourage business to invest and expand, creating more job opportunities. Number 2 is lowering interest rate. As a bank have more fund to lend, competition among finance institution increase, driving down interest rate. Lower interest rate made borrowing more attractive for businesses and consumer. Businesses can invest in new project, equipment and infrastructure, lending to the job creation. Consumers are more likely to take out loan for big ticket items like home and car, which also stimulate economic growth. Number 3 is increasing money supply. By lowering the reverse requirement, the overall money supply in the economy increase. This increase in money supply can stimulate economic activity as people have more fund to spend. This increase consumer spending can lend to businesses expanding and creating more jobs. Number 4 is inflation management. While a government aims to maintain a low employment rate, it must also manage inflation. If the economy grows too quickly, inflation can become a problem. In the case, the government may need to raise reserve requirement to slow down the money supplies and control inflation. Lastly, balancing act. Maintaining a low unemployment rate to monetary policy requires a delicate balance. The government must carefully manage the statutory reserve requirement to stimulate economic growth without causing excessive inflation.
The graph shows the equilibrium level of national income. The vertical axis is present aggregate expenditure AE, which is the total spending in the economy. The horizontal axis is present national income Y. The 45-degree line shows the line where aggregate expenditure is equal to national income. This is the equilibrium condition where the economy is producing exactly what is spending. The curve label AE is the aggregate expenditure function. It shows the relationship between national income and total spending. In this graph, the aggregate expenditure function is increased at a rate less than 45 degrees, which means the national income increase, aggregate expenditure increase, but by a smaller amount. This is because some of the national income is saved and not spent. The point where the AE curve intersects the 45-degree line is the equilibrium level of national income. SRR ratio. The graph shows the decline in the SRR ratio over time starting from 3.5% in November 2008 to 1% in November 2019. This indicates a decrease in the required capital requirement for banks over the period, which may indicate increased financing stability or change in banking regulation. The summary: monetary policy controls statutory reserve requirement can help the government to maintain low employment rate, stimulate economic and activity, also job creation. Malaysia support improving labour market data, showing reduced unemployment and increased employment across sectors.